Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Gridiron Gals podcast. I'm Rita, the NFL chick.
Hey, everybody, it's Chelsea, aka Chelsea's right.
Week 5 of the NFL is here, and there's a lot. The NFL is a never ending story, Chels. As we all
Mr.
know, there's
Chico.
always something going on within the NFL 365 days a year. So the first one that is been a big thing is Von Miller. We know him a long time, Denver Broncos, now with the Buffalo Bills. Has had a very good year thus far, but he's been suspended for, I think, 4 games for personal conduct.
Mhm.
And it appears it's in relation to an assault that allegedly took place last year against his pregnant girlfriend. And we had heard about this story, and then it kind of got swept under the rug. And then now there's a suspension involved. And so, yeah, this is not the first time that Von Miller has been in the news when it's come to the NFL. We've heard his name before with some, other situations, but now it is alleged that this young man has put his hands on somebody. And so I'm just curious to know what your thoughts are regarding this suspension.
So this isn't the first time that Von Miller has been in trouble with this particular person as well. This woman has. This is her second child that she now has with Von Miller. Where did they get the? What is the rubric?
Right.
Where do we get 4 games? Where do we get 4 games? And where do we? When do we get the full seasons? I mean, clearly there's a problem here. Also, it happened November of last year.
Yes.
What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? So I think the whole lean in, send a message, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I think that they lean in and send a message that they are not tolerant of assaults and domestic violence, depending on who it is. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know why 4 games is all that you want to give somebody for allegations of domestic violence and domestic abuse, particularly if this is, not the first time that we've had this
Right.
conversation with said person. Yeah, the NFL is very weird on what they tolerate
Mhm.
from these
Mhm.
players. They don't care about women this way that they say that they do. They don't care about essentially anybody. If it, the way that they claim to care about these people, they care about the product on the field, and the people that play football are the people that are the product on the field. And so they want to make sure that your ass is out there playing football, and
Right.
if they can find a way to make sure that that guys are out there, in my opinion, this is my opinion.
Mhm.
I don't have factual information, but this is just how I've seen it over time. Then they will do that. When you start hurting the money, quote unquote, by protesting, that's when things get murky, and then they don't want to be involved, and they don't want to be affiliated with said party. So you can be a Colin Kaepernick and not have charges against you, but want to fight for the rights of people and never play in the NFL again. And you can also be Von Miller and put your hands on a woman and only miss 4 games, or you could be Rashee Rice and potentially hurt people and not get suspended at all. And so I'm really disgusted by this, that in terms of, like, I understand that an investigation had to be done. And so from a due diligence standpoint, okay, cool. I'm glad that y'all waited till you got like some factual information, because, if something were to happen where he was mistakenly being accused of something that he didn't do, then he could potentially sue. I get all of that, but 4 games for putting your hands on a pregnant person, that's y'all feel like that's enough? I I don't think I understand the logic behind that. But again, I just told you they care about putting asses on the field to have a solid
Definitely.
product out
Yep.
there. Because if they had to, if let's be real, if they had to, if they really start digging into people and finding out what was going on with people, it probably wouldn't be as many star players as we like to
No,
think.
that's facts. That's big facts.
That's why
Especially if they started drug testing everybody.
how about it? So there's that part of it. So, yeah, it's incredibly disappointing if that's the case. Again, if it's the due diligence of it, I mean, I'm fine for you to wait till you gather the information. That doesn't bother me. But the 4 games, a pregnant person. This is not one person that he hurt. He hurt 2 people. Y'all supposed to be so everybody's I'm so pro-life and all these things. Like, are you?
Yeah. I mean, and another thing, the NFL can make their determination outside of what law enforcement says. So they know that it happened. They know that he had improper conduct, whether they were fighting each other or, whether he started it or whether he finished it. The NFL determines what is a personal conduct violation, and that is outside of what law enforcement says. And we know that law enforcement, I mean, they another one, like they pick and choose what they want to do as well. The NFL could have made a move on it last year, just like they could have made a move on Rashee Rice, but they chose not to. And so my thing is, I just want to know what the rule book is. What is the rubric? What parameters are you using? Or what's the whatever. Mm-hmm. What's the matrix? What is it? What is it? Because everything seems just so random. This person gets this person gets that. Maybe you don't get anything. There's no consistency here.
Yeah, I completely agree. And continuing the conversation about consistency or lack thereof is, Rashee Rice from the Chiefs that I already brought up, and you as well. He is out for the year. He's not out for the year. We don't know that yet. He is out for at least 4 weeks, but could potentially be out for a year as he is dealing with an ACL injury. He had gotten a second opinion, so they're not ready to say that he's done yet. But my guess, Chels, is that he probably is, and that they're holding that information or withholding that information for a potential trade from somewhere so they can not get fleeced to try to bring, somebody in. But Rashee Rice had his own problems during the summer. We know that he had a hit and run in which he was driving extremely fast, could have killed some people, and yet he has gotten no repercussions about that. So after his injury, whether, you guys think it's crass or whether you think it's, karma, a lot of people had something to say about his injury, basically saying, well, this is the universe just putting him away, that it's something that the NFL was too cowardly to do. And I got to ask, do you think that that's going too far, or do you agree that, the universe said, hey, if y'all not going to do it, we'll do the dirty work for you?
I think running away from a hit and run is going a bit too damn far. You don't even know if you've killed someone, if you've seriously injured someone.
Facts.
So, and listen, the Chiefs get away with a lot of stuff. That is not I felt like between Chiefs and Georgia football, I was like, y'all's off season was a little ticky tacky area. All y'all need to just sit in the house somewhere. So, I mean, I think that people need to be held accountable. It is unfair for victims of car accidents. When you hit and run, they can't get your insurance information. They can't all kinds of foolishness happens. And that's unnecessary. It's very unnecessary. So, I think that he does have a tear. I think that he is going to be out for the season, but also like somebody, if depending on what they want to do with him, they can't. I am assuming that at some point the NFL will be like, oh yeah, you had to hit and run. You get 6 games. I'm just saying 6. I don't know. That 6 games is not going to come till he's healed. So you may not see him until middle of next season. All because you're done.
Unlike you, I don't trust the NFL to do the right thing here, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm just hypothetical. I don't trust them.
I don't.
Likely nothing can happen.
Yeah, I don't trust them to do the right thing here. I think that the NFL is cowardly in that regard. And again, like I said earlier, when it comes down to affecting the money, they're not gonna play that. They don't believe in you standing up for something that is potentially going to affect the money. But if it affects lives, they don't really care about stuff like that. And so that's why I don't see them or the police department in Texas doing the right thing. And people are enamored with celebrity. People are enamored with giving people that are adjacent to celebrity a pass, as opposed to giving them the rightful punishment that they deserve. And that's a big problem in this country and in this world. And I just think that, the NFL and the state of Texas is no different in that regard. So sometimes, the universe got to step in and do what they got to do. I'm not suggesting that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that sometimes if y'all not going to do the punishment, there's a higher power that's going to do it for you. So, that's just kind of where I stand with that. Whether you agree with it or not, hey, take that up with your universe. Take that up with whoever you serve or your God. But I'm just telling you, sometimes it worked that way under mine. Okay. So there is that. And the big news, I think, of this week is Davante Adams and the Raiders potentially getting a divorce, as he has requested a trade. I still don't really understand what has happened between Adams and Pierce, because it feels like an Adams and Pierce issue and not an Adams and Raiders issue. Now, I know we were having conversation about Davante potentially getting traded last year, but it didn't feel like it was like a personal thing. It just felt like people thought that he was getting traded because the Raiders weren't playing for anything, and potentially the Raiders could get draft capital off of trading Davante Adams. This year, it feels different. He claims that he's injured, and maybe he is, Chels, maybe he is dealing with an injury, but I think a lot of us are assuming that man ain't injured. He's played his last down for the Raiders, and he said, fuck you.
Yeah, he said, enough is enough. Y'all done traded away all my best friends.
got rid of them. Got rid of them.
Well, however, they're not there.
They're not there. Your Cowboys is one of the teams that he has mentioned that he would like to go to. What are your thoughts on Davante Adams potentially going to the boys?
We need all the help we can get.
No, you need running backs, actually. But
we need running backs, but also now, if it was a quick turnaround, Brandon Cooks is out this week for the Steelers game. So we're running everywhere. We need a running game like that's. We already know that. However, we running thin. We're running thin on offense as well. So I mean, if they can make a deal and something that makes a lot of sense, I mean, ain't nobody trying to break the bank. But hey, bring them on in. We need something. We need help. How many positions can he play? Can you play both sides of the ball? What can you do?
Run the ball, because we need that too.
Can you run the ball? Can you rush? Can you stop the run? Can you run and stop the run at the same time? At this point, it's not an issue of what do the Cowboys need? What don't the Cowboys need?
Right.
So yes, we will take him. We will take him. But I think that he's probably going to end up at the Jets. Or in Kansas City.
No, that's not happening. And I just don't believe that that's going to happen, because I believe, this is my belief. My belief is that the Raiders, that is the division rival, and the Raiders are going to ask
yes, it is. Yeah.
They're going to ask for a king's ransom, something higher than they're going to ask for any other team. And I don't see it. Look, they're probably going to ask for a first and a player and like some other stuff. And, and depending on how bad the Chiefs want it, I mean, maybe they'll take it. But ultimately, I think that the ante is going to get upped for you to trade him to literally the team that you got to play twice a year. So I don't see that happening personally. I'm with you. I think the Jets is possible. He can reunite with Aaron Rodgers. I would love to see him back in Green Bay. I don't know how he left in Green Bay, how, like, if it's bad terms or if it was just he was ready to move on. But I'd love to see Jordan Love get him, particularly because, like, Christian Watson is hurt. I know he wants to reunite in New Orleans with his BFF Derek Carr. So that was something that he mentioned. I think at this point, there's a lot of people that feel like Davante Adams needs to go somewhere where he's going to get the ball. And while I don't disagree with that, when I look at the list of teams that he said that he would be interested in, all of those teams are in some shape or form decent enough to go to the playoffs and potentially make a run. Yeah. And Davante is going to be 32 years old in December. I don't think that stats while I think it's important for him, I think he wants a ring more than anything. And I think that's how that's going to work. So I am curious to see where this goes. Personally, Charles, I do not want him anywhere in the AFC. I don't want him to touch the Steelers. I don't want him to touch the Bills. Don't give none of those.
Another team, though.
Huh?
The Steelers was another team that was mentioned.
Exactly. And I don't want him to go there. Okay. That's my point. Don't want him to go there. Don't want him to go to the Steelers. Gotcha. We know that they was looking for Brandon Ayuk this past summer, and that didn't happen. Thank God.
And they knew something that we ain't know. And look.
Well, no, he literally was being traded the morning that he changed his mind. Yeah. But for whatever reason, he changed his mind, right? But now it's funny because he hasn't played well. Exactly. And it's very weird. And so, I don't know. It's just interesting to see. I just don't want Davante to go there.
You just don't want to. Okay. Got you. I'm going to call Jerry Jones and be like, hey, I need to shake the piggy bank or something and just get
particularly because we played y'all already. Y'all out the way. So I ain't need, look. I ain't got to worry about him playing.
You got to worry about we had him in that game. We might could have got something. Might could have got something. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I need him to be a Travis Hunter and play all sides of the ball or something because we need all the help we can get. But Cowboys don't do nice things like that. So we don't talk about that. They don't do nice things like that.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think trade deadline is in November. So it will be interesting to see where this leads and how this goes and the stories that will come out as a result. Because I'm curious to know what is happening and why this is, going on. So there's a lot of coaches that are getting some flack early on. We're a quarter into the NFL season, Chels, and there's a lot of coaches that, people aren't happy with their team. You got the Brian Dabbles, you got the Doug Petersons, you got the Nick Siriannos. If there's a coach right now that you feel is on the hot seat, who would that be?
I'm going to base this only because of performance versus expectation. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm going to say Nick Sirianno. And it might be the Eagles fans that fire him. They may drag him out of the office.
Yeah.
They are pissed. They may actually drag him out of the office. That's who I can see. Now, I do not think that they will part ways with him this season, during the season. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a wrap for that man at the end of the season if things don't shake out the way they wanted to shake out, especially how they collapsed at the end of last season. I think that's the only one. Like Doug Peterson, I don't know. I don't really feel like Mike McDonald is in trouble. Mike McDonald or Mike McDaniel? Which one is it?
Daniel.
I don't know. Black Mike. I don't know how
Black
much.
Let's just call him Black Mike. What's with
Black Mike? I don't know. Hey, that man get blacker every week.
Black Mike. Yeah, I don't think Black Mike.
I think the one who really is like, hey, boy, Nick Sirianno. I think.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni is a guy that I believe is absolutely on the hot seat, and you already prefaced this, Charles. Like how they ended last year, it felt like this team had no life. It felt like this team had given up. It felt like this team just wasn't adhering to what the coaching staff was. And I think that Brian Johnson took the fall for Nick Sirianni, the offensive coordinator. But I believe that like Brian Johnson is somewhere else and he's doing well. I'm Googling it now, but like he's somewhere now and he's fine. Like he literally is.
I don't know who told them to bring Kellen Moore in.
The Cowboys fans should. Why you ain't talking to Cowboys fans?
And you know how many
with the Commanders, by the way. Brian Johnson is currently with the
Commanders. Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all know we talk about my brother all the time. My brother's an Eagles fan. He texted me during the game last week and said, and I quote, "Has Kellen Moore always been this way?"
Hey, we inherit here.
Hey, listen. Not has he always called this kind of plays? Has he always been this way? My response was a very simple yes.
Yep.
Welcome to hell.
Welcome to hell.
Welcome to mouth breathing hell.
Welcome to hell.
Man ain't closed his mouth in 8 NFL seasons. Yes, this is him. So that is what you get. I'm so sorry, Eagles fans. I'm sorry, but also slightly
entertaining. Y'all. I want to be clear here. This lady is not sorry. Deep down, she is smiling very hard that they got rid of the problem, and now this is an in division problem. She is not fucking sorry at all.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question for the Eagles fans, and y'all can listen to this and then respond to me on Twitter. What did you see from him? Him being with the Cowboys, that can get a little murky, right? He is calling plays, though, right? Mm-hmm. What did you see in San Diego that made you say, huh?
LA?
Whoever. The Chargers.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time.
When you said LA, I was like, who is LA? Right.
Who is LA? What are you talking about?
What did you see that made you say, that's who we want as our offensive coordinator? Right there. Y'all can answer me that. Y'all can send that. Because Rita can't answer because she don't know.
I don't know.
She don't know. I want y'all to know what you saw.
Girl. I mean, my memory just goes back to him. I have no idea what's going on with him. And so I feel like Sirianni is absolutely the biggest. I mean, Doug Peterson, I don't know how Doug Peterson keeps a job, with what's going on in Jacksonville.
Hey, and I don't necessarily know if it's all him. He might need to be free.
I did not say that I feel like it's all Doug Peterson's fault. I'm just simply saying that I don't know how, because the head coach is the one that is going to get the repercussions.
If I were Doug Peterson, I would call in sick. I will call in sick for the next 12 weeks.
You're going to be sick?
I'm going to be sick. Put your FMLA in. They
can't you're going to be ill for 12 weeks.
Yeah, that's FMLA. You get 16 weeks of FMLA. 12. That protects your job. Then at the end of the season, you be like, hey, you know what? That's it for me. Just take FMLA. This is terrible.
That man need to go on FMLA.
FMLA.
That is insane, friend. I just want you to know that is insane.
You know I got thinking problems sometimes.
Hey, I don't feel too good. I ain't doing too good.
Feel good. Hey,
and lay down for 12 weeks.
You get 16 weeks to FMLA. Take 12 weeks.
Or 13, whatever it is now. But lady said, hey, go ahead.
You come back the final week. Okay. That's a good show. That's a show a good thing. Come back the final week. Yeah, as a show a good thing.
Yo, you are insane, friend. That is a crazy fucking thing to say. It's fucking hilarious. I'm dying laughing. Well, good luck to you, Doug Peterson, because I don't know how to. In terms of Brian Dabble, I feel that whatever the Giants do, whether they decide to keep him, whether they decide to let him go, I think he'll be fine no matter what, because I don't think that what's happening in New York is a Dabble issue. It's a bigger issue, largely, the Daniel Jones loyalty that you had when you signed him to, a long-term deal. But I so if they do decide to fire him, some team is going to get a good coach.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, didn't he get coach of the year a couple of years ago or something?
He should have because the Giants went to the divisional round. So I would like to think that he should get.
Yeah, I think he got something like that. He'll be fine. He might be another one that want to take his PTO now.
And maybe he take a big deal, so he hope he can get.
They don't pay Daniel Jones so much money. You gotta let that horse out every week.
My favorite thing, Charles, is the linking of Carson back to the New York Giants, which I don't know if y'all noticed that's not better than Daniel Jones.
This is why people need to watch college football and stop playing around with their lives.
Exactly.
You need to watch.
Exactly. I think it's freaking hilarious, dog. I think it's hilarious. And good luck to everybody if you think Carson Beck is the answer and a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, because I feel like it's Minion 1 and Minion 2.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin.
At that point, they just do two different things, but it would be hilarious to me if that were the case. All right. Week 5 of the NFL is underway. I'm going to skip the Bucks and the Falcons game because by the time you hear this, that game would have been played Sunday. So this week we're back to regular one Monday night games. Thank God, because
that's dumb. Let's not do that again.
Now I will say this: I'd rather have 2 Monday night games than one Thursday night game. But I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So here we go. Jets at Vikings. Oh,
I'm riding with the hot hand.
Got to.
That defense is mean, baby.
Gotta ride with the hot hand, shorty. Got to ride with the hot hand. I don't know how long this is going to last, but Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh is another one that we didn't bring up because
we didn't talk about him. Yeah,
that was trending. That was absolutely trending the other day. Fire Saleh. Salah. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. I apologize. Salah, thank you, because y'all know I mess up names. I mean, that's just who I am. I ain't never gonna get shit right, but Salah. But Fire Salah was trending after Sunday's game, and I think Aaron threw some shade to him in some press conferences. So it's getting a little testy over there, honey. So I'm not rooting for them. I mean, I'm not picking them. I gotta pick the hot hand,
Yeah.
The Vikings it is. Panthers at Bears. Is this the Tubi game of the week or no?
I actually don't think so.
Okay.
I actually do not think so. And I'm surprised that I actually paused just now because I was like, wow. I didn't think we would be there with the Panthers. I thought it'd be like, moving on. I'm going to say the Bears at home. I'm going to say the Bears, but I don't think that's the Tubi game this week.
Okay, I do think that Andy Dalton absolutely gives the Panthers life, and I think that they, find a way to be in it. But I agree with you. I'm just going to go with the Bears at home. Browns at Commanders.
Well, the Commanders should win that game very easily. The Browns are putrid.
Nick Chubb did come back to practice, so I don't know how long before we see him on the field again. But the Browns stink, dog. Get the fuck out of here. I did find the Tubi game of the week, and here it is. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
It is the Dolphins and the Patriots.
Oh my God, and it's bad when a divisional game is the Tubi game of the week. Y'all are putting out some bad ball on TV. That's terrible.
Tyler Huntley starting for the Dolphins again, and then the Patriots are just patrioting. So yeah.
Damn. My, how times have changed.
I love it for me. Don't care.
Oh, I'm supposed to pick a team.
Yes, thank you.
Girl, I'm sitting there like, what's she waiting on?
Your pick?
Dolphins.
Okay.
For no reason other than I just needed to pick a team.
Yeah, look, the Patriots line, and then I think they lost an offensive lineman this week.
They did.
It's you talking about putrid. This is putrid, and this is actually offensive. The Patriots offense specifically. I'm not watching that shit. Good luck to everybody that got to watch the game. Colts at Jags.
We got Joe Flacco, don't we?
I would think that's possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go with Jersey Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I'm Team Joseph Vincent over here. And that's who I'm gonna go with all the time. So I'm rolling with the Colts. Bills at Texans.
I don't think the Bills dropped 2 in a row. I'm going to go with the Bills, but I do think that's going to be a good game.
I mean, it's funny because we said this last week, so we'll see. But I do think that the Bills will rebound. I think that as much as I love C.J. Stroud, and I think that he has made great strides, I agree with you that I think that the Bills are a resilient team and they'll find their way, back into the win column. So I am also going with the Bills.
Stephon Diggs gets to face his former team.
Oh, yeah. So that should be fun. Ravens at Bengals.
The Ravens.
Girl,
don't be sitting up and thinking about the Bengals are trash.
No. I'm picking the Ravens. I mean, division games are hard, so I don't expect an easy, feat. The Bengals are gonna put it in there. They got some defensive guys that are potentially coming back, and that could, cause some havoc on the line. But I told you, we talked about this. I don't like the secondary of the Bengals. I think that they can be exposed, and I'll be curious to see how that works. Raiders at Broncos.
Do we have two Tubi games of the week?
I think we do. I think that's the second Tubi game of the week.
Yeah. At Broncos, I'll pick the Broncos just because they're at Broncos, but I don't want to see neither one of them teams play.
The Broncos defense is very nasty, and they are very fun to watch. That offense, however, is not. And no Devontae Adams. I just don't see how that defense, you can do anything with them. So I am also going with the Broncos. Cardinals at 49ers.
Oh, now we're getting into some stuff. At the 49ers, I'm gonna pick them at home. I don't think that it's like the little brother fighting the big brother or some shit like that. I'm gonna pick the 49ers. Who do we getting people back? I think George Kittle, is he questionable? I don't know. It's on my fantasy thing.
Should be back.
He should be back. I think that makes a difference. Possibly Brandon Ayuk shows up. I'm not sure what's
happening. Maybe this is the week he decides. Look, the man ain't played a lick of training camp, so
he said this is preseason.
Exactly. So he got through 4 games. Maybe week 5 is the game that he'll show up for. I am also going with the 49ers. Giants at Seahawks.
I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, the 12th man is too loud. I'm sorry. I'm just
too loud now.
Packers at Rams. Interesting. I picked the Packers last week against the Vikings. And while they did not win, I did say if Jordan Love was playing, I think they got a chance. They lost by 2. So, Jordan Love is back, shorty.
He's back, and I'm going to go with the Packers at home.
They're not at home. They're playing against
the Rams. They're not at home?
Mm-mm.
Do the Rams really have a home field advantage?
No, they don't.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna still go with the Packers.
Yeah, I can absolutely see the Packers fans
Taking over. Absolutely. They coming right down the West Coast.
Yes. So, go Pack go. I am picking the Packers. Cowboys at Steelers.
Girl, bye.
Okay, well, we know who she's picking. We know that she doesn't pick against the Cowboys. I want to pick the Cowboys. I do.
I know you do, but you can be honest.
No, this is hard for me. This is hard for me because I mean they do have they meaning the Steelers have a run game. They got Najee Harris and they got the other kid, and so this is hard for me because
that's all you need against us.
You're and you've lost two guys on defense that you really need, and I don't think that the Steelers are good. I want to be clear on that, but they're very well coached, and I think that that's what keeps them in games every single week.
Absolutely.
And then the Cowboys not having, the two defensive players in Lawrence and Parsons, it just kind of makes it hard for me to go against,
and not being able to run the ball.
Well, that part too. So
can't stop it, can't run it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
young left tackle just went behind the ears. And name some things. But also it could be we are a completely dysfunctional. Well, I'm not gonna say completely. We got a good quarterback. We got we got a top wide receiver, and so the thing about, and I don't go too much into it. I'm picking the Cowboys, although I'm just gonna pick them. I'm not gonna jinx anything. But we done rolled into this season with the same issues that we already knew we had, and ain't nobody do nothing to fix it. So hey, it is what it is. You're about to go up there and get embarrassed on Sunday Night Football. I'll turn the channel and go watch a horror movie.
Exactly, I feel that too, 110%.
I would rather see Michael Myers going house to house killing people. And my cousins, I got a whole bunch of cousins that's going up there to that game. Child,
I unfortunately I gotta go with the Steelers here, even though I don't want to. And finally, Monday Night Football, Saints at Chiefs.
Girl, I actually think that it probably is gonna be a good game. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because the Chiefs have help that other people don't have. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with them.
Okay. So you
and Arrowhead? Oh no,
I'm going with Chiefs.
Mm-hmm, I'm going with Chiefs.
In some weird fashion, I feel like the Saints are going to win this game just because we are so hell bent on the Chiefs finding ways to win football games, even though they're not playing at the level that we're used to them playing. The Saints are not theoretically a team I think about, but I don't know if I have an answer for who is going to stop Alvin Kamara. And that's where I stand with this. This is not about Derek Carr. This is about
makes a difference.
Although Derek Carr does have a lot of familiarity with the Chiefs because he played in the division. So that could be helpful. But I think Alvin Kamara is the X factor here. And I am going with the Saints in a close one.
I hope they make it interesting. Keep it spicy. At least
I know it's not going to work out the way I said that it is because the football gods clearly love the Kansas City Chiefs. But
they do very much. Very much so.
Yeah. So there's that. That is our week 5 NFL picks. Please do not use our picks for your parlays. We do not take this shit serious. We just do it off of vibes.
Yeah, and I don't post my parlays because I don't want nobody blaming me for losing your rent money. So I post my parlay. You might see me tweet about it, but I don't share mine because I don't want nobody coming for me. But these are just, I would, if you are a money line bettor, I would pay us no mind.
Yeah, don't pay us no mind. Thank you so much. All right, back to college football. Our favorite, UNLV, man. I've never paid so much attention to UNLV football in my life. In my college football.
The Running Rebels football team. Come on,
in just a few days, there has just been so much drama. Last week, the family of Asluka, the quarterback, who I always call Vanilla Lamar Jackson, which is really an insult to Lamar, and I'm going to stop saying that, but the motherfucker can run, okay? If he can't do nothing else, the motherfucker can run, okay? He was just running around all over the place. Well, the young kid claimed that UNLV didn't pay the NIL money. UNLV says, yes, we did. He just wants more of it because, we had this great start. And so the quarterbacks, Lucas said, he said, thanks, y'all. Thanks to the fans, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out for the rest of the year, and I'm probably transfer somewhere else. So that was the end of that story. So we get to week 5 last week, and a new quarterback comes in, and they steamrolled against the team that they were playing. Okay, I mean, literally, they didn't miss. I mean, they didn't miss a fucking beat. They didn't miss a fucking beat. Okay,
the worst thing that could happen to him.
Right. Oh, by the way, there was a running back that they also had that is redshirting himself, but it was for a different reason. He believes that he is playing behind too many guys. And I guess he's going to transfer to
so he wasn't a starter.
Correct. And he wants to go elsewhere. Okay. So that was that. So after a few days of controversy, UNLV comes out victorious. But this is a conversation that we should be having about NIL and where it is. And if we think that NIL has essentially gone too far in college football.
So I don't know if it is. I don't think it's gone too far. I think that there are not clear parameters. Clear, like, it seems a little wild, wild westish. We agreed that the players should be paid. We agreed that the hoarding of the money has gone to the universities and the NCAA and not to the people that need it. Players should be compensated. They are putting their bodies on the line. Their parents and cousins and everybody should be able to attend games. Like, they should be able to do all of these things. They are generating revenue. They should be able to share in that. And they should be able to make money off of themselves. It's my name. If I want to go and make money at the car dealership, I should be able to do that. It shouldn't be a violation. But when you start getting into things like this, like I think it needs to be like clear rules, clear like expectations, clear parameters. People should be able to look to have a good reference point. Like, okay, I want to do this. Let me see if you can do this. Blah blah blah. But also, I feel like there's a new flock of. It's like blood in the water for these like agents and all of these people that are doing anything they can to get them this NIL money, and it may be bad advice. And like, who do they go to? Who do they trust? Who did that man go to and say, hey, I'm gonna just redshirt this year, jump down in the portal, and I'm gonna end up? Where do you think you're going to go? What would it look like? Is there someone that can say, okay, well, if you do that, here's what the risk you'll take? Because now what it looks like you weren't that valuable to your team because your team can pop somebody else in. So now it seems like it wasn't you that got them to the undefeated 3-0, 4-0, wherever they were then. So I think it needs to be clear guidance going on because it's just a little rogue and you got kids, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds making big boy business decisions, and I don't think they're always getting it right.
I agree with that. There's two things that I want to bring up here. First, with the Sluka situation, allegedly this was a verbal agreement and there was no writing for this. And I have a big problem with that. I have a problem with everybody involved, from the quarterback side, whether it's his family, whether he had an agent. I don't know who was involved here, but how the fuck do you allow this to not be in writing? It is imperative for everything to have a trail, and literally you have nothing. And so the lesson that I hope that y'all learned from this is that every single thing when it comes to money, I don't give a shit if it's a dime, it needs to be put in writing, or else you are in real trouble of having a real case of saying this happened and improving it. Okay, so there's that part. You mentioned that there's no perimeters, and it's not. There are no perimeters. It literally is just whatever people want it to be. And ultimately, Charles, this is, to me, in my opinion, the doing of the NCAA, and this is their fault. You had an opportunity to allow these kids to get paid when they wanted to unionize, and you made sure you had paid all this money to the courts to make sure it got shot down. Where you got cocky, you did. And then the states realized that in allowing NIL, it allows kids to stay in their states or come to their states and then generate revenue for said state. And so when they started bringing up state laws for this, you lost the battle. That was when you lost the battle. And instead of y'all getting ahead of all of this and saying it's okay, but we got to put these barriers on it, you kept trying to stop these kids from getting paid. And then when the states jumped in and said, well, we don't give a fuck about none of that shit y'all talking about, we gonna let y'all do it, it became this. So this is the NCAA's fault. Yep. And I'm going to continue to say that this is their fault. And I'm going to continue to say, I don't give a fuck. Now, do I think that the NIL is gotten out of hand? I do, because there are no rules. There are no perimeters. I do think that there should be some type of structure. What that structure is, I don't know, because that's not what I do for a living. The people that do these things for a living, y'all figure this shit out. I don't know what that means and what that should entail, but it should entail something, because it is ridiculous. And while I'm cool with these kids having power, right, and saying that, well, you didn't pay me, so I'm redshirting. If a kid is reneging on said contract and redshirting themselves because they feel like they want more money or this, then you should be able to recoup whatever it is that you got from these. Absolutely. It should go both ways. So something needs to be regulated here. And I don't know who is going to be in charge of that, but I hope that they figure it out, because this is the part of the game that while I love it and I do think kids should get paid, it gets complicated. And I think that it does take a lot of what we love about this game away, because we're having these conversations as opposed to having conversations about, who's going to make this SEC championship or who's going to make all of these. And, I think it takes away from that. So NCAA, this is your fault, period.
I know what comes along with unions: structure.
Yep. How about
rules, guidelines, structures, parameters, bylaws and bylaws. All of those things come along with having a union. And you probably would have fared much, 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 much better, because if it is a violation, you can go straight to that. And of course, unionization provides a lot of other protections for players and even players, whether they make a lot of money or they don't. It is a good thing to be a part of, which is the reason why people are so against it, because it usually protects the little guy, right? So y'all made a mess with this, and so you have to figure out how to clean it up. Leave me out of it. Take me out the group chat.
How about it? And figure it out. Before we move on, I want to bring up because UNLV has had a lot of success this season, and I want to acknowledge that, but they're not the only one. The following teams are currently undefeated this year: Indiana, UNLV, Duke, Iowa State, Pitt, Rutgers. Man, I mean, we buried Rutgers to the ground. We buried Rutgers to the ground. 4-0 currently, and Navy. Those teams are all undefeated. Some of them as far back as 1967 for Indiana and 1978 for UNLV, which was kind of like in their glory days. So shout out to those teams, dog. I mean, I think that this is the beauty of NIL, though, in terms of like having a little bit more parity and having like better structured teams. When you're allowed to pay for guys to come. So shout out to those teams, and we'll see how this goes when the top 25, or when we get to the college football playoffs. We'll see, where we go from there. Speaking of two teams that I think we will see in the college football playoffs, Alabama and Georgia. Of course, Georgia went to Tuscaloosa, and an instant classic was created. Chels, we all know, is a fan of Alabama. So I'm gonna let her give her perspective on what that roller coaster was like, because I felt like I was watching the Ravens game at that moment.
I went through so many emotions that night. I drank the Kool-Aid. I definitely drank the Kool-Aid in the beginning. when Bama was going up, and I think by halftime it was 28-6. And there's a reason why I drank the Kool-Aid, because of the way Bama was playing versus the way Georgia was playing. And I was like, oh, Georgia keep playing like this, baby. It's gonna be 54-10, boy. And I was like, damn, what's wrong with them? What's going on? Is it that loud in there, you know? And then Bama decided, hey, we have reached our touchdown quota for the day. Not going to do it no more for the next quarter and a half. So after halftime, Georgia decided that they had arrived at the game. And that's when, I mean, before, child, I got to the point where I was just a little sipping here and there. Following some pros, talking shit on Twitter. And then, child, that heart started beating fast, and I lost my appetite. And now I'm drinking to survive. I said, this is crazy. That last 8.5 minutes of that game probably took 35 years off my life. I'm almost at the end. And I was like, well, this is Georgia. Like, this is who Georgia is right now. I don't know who was playing in the first half. No one. But I was like, this is who Georgia is. And this speaks to, you can't sleep on nobody. And people always talk about running up the score. Oh, don't run up the score. Oh, have some class. Fuck y'all.
Why you run
that score up. Keep scoring until the clocks hit 0. No one cares if you score 95 points in the football game. Score all of the points. If Bama had not put their foot all the way on the gas in the first half, we would not even be having this conversation. I'd be like, what game? I ain't seen no game. But the defense was, I mean, that car is Carson Beck gashing. He was slanging that thing. I said, oh Lord, they scored a touchdown in 32 seconds. What's happening? But Jalen Milroe is a bad boy. And the only one on that field that is better than Jalen Milroe is Ryan Williams. I ain't never seen no shit like that before, Rita. I ain't never seen no shit. But was he juggling the football? I have never seen the child. He's 17 years old. He looks 17 years old. He weighed about 111 pounds.
Devontae Smith light.
And when you said Devontae Smith, like Devontae Smith, we called him the Slim Reaper. This boy is a beanpole out there. I was amazed, and it was one. It was like a 67-yard. That's the one he was out there juggling, got that, and then of course Carson Beck scores that touchdown out of nowhere. I lost my appetite, almost hit the floor, fell off the sofa. All kinds of shit was happening in the house. I should be supervised during these games. My dog done ran in the cage because she is terrified. She don't know if we safe. And then what? I think I was getting ready to stand up, and then boom, there's Ryan Williams. Now we're talking about something different. A few things, I didn't like. I didn't really like the clock management. I'm like, hey, why are you snapping the ball so quickly? We could run that down. We gave them the ball back with so much time. And I think me and Kirk Herbstreit were saying the same thing. Why are you snapping the ball so quick? So little things like that was annoying. But then for the game to get to the point where Georgia needed a touchdown versus needing a field goal. And we saw in that game, those kickers was ready. I mean, college kickers really don't be kicking they was ready. But Bama secondary woke up and we got that pick in the end zone, or it could be a bad throw. Who cares? Got the pick in the end zone. And that was the end of that. And, my favorite part of this is the Georgia fans. People started making fun of the Bama fans because we had changed. And of course you do that. But my favorite part was people showing video of the Georgia fans after the touchdown, before the Ryan Williams touchdown. And the Georgia football players were teasing the fans in the stands. And And hey, it just look, it's all a part of the game, but you got to be able to take it. I personally don't like to do a lot of teasing until I feel very, very comfortable. But now y'all teasing. Now you turn around, these fans, you scored a touchdown in their eyeballs.
Yeah.
I don't know how that feels. You can't feel good.
Well,
but it probably, not even exaggerating, one of the best college football games I have ever seen. Paul Feinbaum said in 40 years, that is the best SEC team football game that he has seen.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those ESPN Classic games. I don't know if they still do that, if that's a thing, but ESPN Classic is absolutely still a thing. And so I definitely, if it was still a thing, that would definitely be an instant classic because it was phenomenal. I mean, even when they was blowing out Georgia, it was still fun to watch, And Ryan Williams is a kid. I love it. He's 17 years old. He's a rock star. This kid should be preparing himself for like his senior year in high school, going to prom, but he's in Tuscaloosa, scoring these crazy, amazing touchdowns. And shout out to his parents, man. I just love everything about like Ryan Williams and what he's doing. He was doing the dirty bird when he caught one of the balls and
his parents
and of course, absolutely. And then he changed his profile picture on Twitter to Michael Vick, which a lot of people didn't get, but it is it's a little insensitive if you like dogs, but he's basically calling himself a dog killer, and that's just what it is. And then him with the program, the signage on the from the movie The Program, which
we got a lot of Americas going on though, Rita.
Hey, I know.
Now I don't know if it's usually when we say two Americas, we're talking about black and white.
We're race, yeah.
But this form of two Americas is different. Yeah. Is it because it wasn't a race thing, but it was a lot of people that were like, oh, would you rather have this kid that had the Proverbs, or would you rather have this kid that said kill them all? And people, I was like, damn, a lot of people ain't get that.
Hey man, The Program is a cult classic. Y'all need to watch that damn movie. And I'm just every time somebody shows me that they have not seen it, I'm always like judging. I'm always disappointed. I'm always judging because what the fuck, man? That is a great movie.
Yeah, I feel the same way when people say they've never watched The Wire.
Oh, well, sorry. I live here, so I don't need to watch it. Thank you so much. So anyway, like I said, when you watch The Program,
I did that, but I actually wasn't talking about you. But the reference points, right? Yeah. When people make references in the lingo.
References. Sure.
Yeah, the lingo. Like when you say things, like if I say the game is the game, that game for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just be like, all right, y'all gotta get with the program, for lack of better terms. So, there's that. No real good games this weekend.
It happens sometimes.
There's one matchup that it appears to be against two ranked teams, and that's Mizzou at Texas A&M. So everything else is people just Clemson at Florida State. I'm just gonna watch it for the comedy of it all, and then essentially that's it. So I'm still gonna watch the games this weekend. You can't stop me. Syracuse and UNLV. Syracuse is 3-1 and UNLV is 4-0. So we'll see how this goes. But it's not that we're getting ready to get into the heart of the schedule for many. So it will be I think much better when it comes down to it.
And sometimes these are the weeks where those games that you don't expect to be very good. So I would still tune in because you go around and it'd be some random game, just like last week on Friday night. Like Friday night, we watched Virginia Tech and was that Virginia Tech in Miami?
In Miami, yep. And Saturday after the Miami and Saturday after the Alabama and Georgia game, actually there was another decent game on Cincinnati and Texas Tech. And that one was actually interesting to watch. So, you're always going to find something good and you just got to, just stick to it. It'll be fine. All right, it's volcano time, Chels. So, who are you putting in the volcano this week?
This is very easy for me. I'm putting CBS, I think CBS reporter Christine
I think
Brennan.
she's USA Today, I believe.
Is it USA Today?
I
Okay.
believe.
One
I
of
believe
those.
she's USA Today.
Christine Brennan, you're going into Volcano. Christine Brennan has been stalking Caitlin Clark for the last season. That's the only thing that I can see. I thought that she was a reporter like out of
She's
Atlanta,
currently
like
with USA Today.
USA
Sorry.
Today. Okay. I thought that she was a reporter like out of it, like following the fever, like that. I was very surprised because I hadn't paid any attention to, because I was like, oh, she must be a fever reporter. She's not. She is writing a book about Caitlin Clark, so she has been stalking her the entire season. Her entire timeline is about Caitlin Clark. And her questions to other WNBA players is about Caitlin Clark. She asked Dejanay Carrington, one of my faves, about the poke in the eye. Guys, this is basketball. This is basketball. People get poked and elbowed and scraped in the face in that area all the time. She asked Dejanay Carrington about the eye poke. If you don't remember, there was a playoff game. Dejanay, they going at it. She poked Caitlin in the eye. You would have thought that the girl put her in the headlock and stabbed her in the stomach and shot her in the foot. People were calling for Dejanay to be arrested. They said that Caitlin Clark had a black eye and was laid out. I wonder if Caitlin Clark ever be like, well, y'all think I'm some kind of punk or something?
Yes.
Because, like, if you've ever seen her play, she is a rough player. She gives it just as much as she takes it. But, hey, you can't touch her. And so she asked Dejanay Carrington about did she intentionally poke Caitlin Clark in the eye? And you could tell that Dejanay was uncomfortable, and she was like, this is basketball. I did not intention. Mind you, she's gotten death threats and all kinds of stuff behind that. She asked her that, and then the next question was something almost like very leading, like, after you saw this, did it change your mind about intentionally poking her in the eye? And Dejanay said, I told you I didn't intentionally do that. What kind of line of questioning is that? What kind of questions are that? And then it just goes on and on. So she's stoking flames, trying to create narratives because she's doing what? Writing a book.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have had enough problems this season with all of that shit around Caitlin Clark, around all of these racists, around people who I don't know if people don't think women should play basketball rough, but they are rough. Like, you watch college, they are rough too. Like, basketball is a physical sport.
Right.
If you want people out of your way, you got to use your body to get them out of your way, or elbow them out of the way and hope the ref don't say it. Like, what are y'all talking about? But she's trash. She has no integrity. The WNBA put out the WNBA Players Association put out a statement saying we telling our folks not to even talk to you. But I've never seen anyone put something like that out about a journalist, and which made me go investigate. I was like, what the hell did this lady do? I remember her question, but I didn't know that it was something as pervasive as it is. But this is just the kind of thing that has come around, and what she is a harmful white woman, because when you ask questions like that, you legitimize what happened, and you empower the people who think that it was an intentional thing. Once you have asked that question, you have legitimized them, and now it is off to the fucking races. And that is not fair. People should be able to play. Things happen. You get bumped and scraped and bruised and fall down and get your hair pulled and your eyelashes that came out, all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, they are playing a game, and they are professional women playing a game. And you need to treat everyone the same way. Treat everyone the same way. But that's some white lady shit, and I want her to go in that volcano.
Christine Brennan is going into the volcano for Chels. I don't really have much to add to that. I mean, I agree with you. I think she's doing the absolute most, and it's disgusting. And if she is a person that has a vote, then I already know who voted Asia fourth. And I got a feeling we know who the culprit is. So there is that. At last year, I'm talking in the MVP vote.
Oh yeah.
So crazy. So I'm putting Rashid Rice's mama in the volcano because apparently she out here doing hood rat shit, and I don't like it. I don't like when your old ass is out here doing hood rat shit. You should not be stealing anyone's package from anybody. She allegedly took a package from someone's desk of Chapel Roan. I don't know the girl. I just heard a song of hers recently. It got a little, I tapped my toes to it a little bit. It's got a little beat to it, but I mean, I've also seen her say a lot of stupid shit on social media lately. And then, you know, she's throwing stones and hiding her hands. So now she's canceling tours because she says she's stressed out. Well, that's your fucking fault, Miss Ma'am. Y'all need to just shut the fuck up. How about that? And stop doing so much talking on social media. But nonetheless, someone bought something that had her records, and the lady, the mother, stole it and had her fucking jersey on that said she was Rice's mother. Okay, how stupid can you be in 2024 when everybody has a Ring, everybody has a Vivint, everybody has some type of home security, Xfinity, where you see what the hell is going on? You and your dumb ass go out there. Not only do you steal, but you make it easy for us to know because you got your son's jersey with you as his mama on the back of the fucking jersey. Charles, I want people to be smart. If you're gonna be a thief, well, be smart one. Put a fucking Scooby-Doo mask on or some shit and put on a regular fucking shirt.
The urge to be a thief was greater than the thought that you should have put into it. She knew that the camera was there because she tried to kick the box. You can hear her kicking, like trying to slide the box. She walked past and then came back. And didn't she have a child with her? Wasn't it a little girl with her? It was a small child with a Chiefs jersey on. Girl, you're stealing it from other children. I laughed at that damn. Is it worth it? That is your neighbor. Your neighbor. Now, I am assuming that is her neighbor.
It is a child with her. I went back and looked at it. It is a child with her with a fucking Rashid Rice jersey on. Both of y'all got on the number 4 jersey. We're not supposed to know who you are.
Stole these people boxes. And they went, and not only did they turned that shit right over to TMZ. They said, how much money you gonna pay me for this? Now you embarrassed all over the place. Now your son he's out for the season probably, and he got to sit up there and look at your dumb ass for the rest of the season because you out here stealing boxes, Craig.
Well, you know, like mother, like son, because it sounds like y'all just used to criminal shit around there. Y'all used to just doing dumbass shit. You used to making dumbass decisions without realizing that your actions and the consequences of your actions. So he out here running around, running people over. She out here stealing fucking packages on camera. A bunch of fucking idiots is in that family. It appears, and I don't care if anybody has anything, feels some type of way of me saying it. It's the fucking truth. All of these things could have been prevented. You could have not just been speeding and racing on a fucking highway, and your mama should have just went out and just bought whatever it is that she needed from Amazon, as opposed to stealing someone's package.
And when you steal people's packages, people get their medication delivered.
Thank you.
They get personal supplies delivered. You had no idea what was in that box. You do not want no Chappelle Roan or Chapel Roan, whatever her name is. You do not want them records. You do not want them records. But you are a thief. And that tells me that she's just a thief, period.
Yep.
She probably just walking around just stealing stuff. You don't know what's in that box. You don't know what was in that box at all. And them people sitting up there waiting around to have them records. And then they got to look on the ring. Where is my box? Yeah. My neighbor that got the son that plays for the NFL, she done took my box.
Listen.
Because I run surveillance with my box, with my ring. I run my surveillance.
How about it? Listen.
I run my surveillance.
If you pay for it, you better use it. Okay.
Sure.
So
I'm always looking at who is that? Who is that?
Exactly.
I'm running mine. And see, when mine is set up, I'm across from my neighbor across the hall. He know I got a ring. He said, I don't even need one. And when my packages are gone, I know he got them.
Yep, facts.
I'm running
So
surveillance.
it's insane. So I just
Mm-hmm.
don't understand. And uh, y'all need that's the family that needs help.
Yeah,
Okay.
something's wrong with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all some prayer, okay? In addition to this judgment that I just gave you, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little bit of prayer too, because clearly y'all need it over there, and y'all don't have enough
Yeah.
of it for some reason. So, there is that. All right, Charles. Any final thoughts?
Actually, yes, I do have a final thought. Man, this has been a rough week, man. Rest in peace for Dikembe Mutombo, man. I feel like
Yes,
my childhood is just being chipped away bit by bit. What a great guy. And I've been enjoying all of the tributes to him and the stories about how kind he's been to people and how funny he is and things like that. And, if you've been living under a rock, he passed away this week. He had a brain tumor. I think I had heard that I've heard about it, but I may have, it didn't, it's not something I just kept thinking about, but yeah. And, brain tumors are rough. That's a rough way to spend your final days. I hope it wasn't too hard on he and his family, and I hope that they can, get some peace and be comforted in knowing that he was such a loved person.
I agree with you. I think Dikembe Mutombo is the epitome of when you are a good person and you pass away, how your legacy
Mhm.
impacts people and how important it is to know how people speak great things about you, and how um, you know great you were as a person, and how it influences other people. Um, and this is the conversations that when I always have, like, what does it mean when you're saying, like, you're like, what does your legacy mean to you when you pass on? How do you want people to speak about you? And I think that Dikembe Mutombo he personified what legacy means and how people speak about you when you pass on. And so we have lost a great person who was absolutely empathetic to this world and did things to help people as a result, with his celebrity and his money. And I hope that he is celebrated in the way that he absolutely deserves. So I am sending a lot. We Chels and I are sending prayers to his family and friends, because that is a great loss
Mhm.
that you guys have had. I'm gonna stay here with this week, because we have lost numerous people, and I'm gonna flip the script here. And we also lost Pete Rose, and
Yep.
this is where we have conversations about legacy. Pete Rose is on the other side of that. And so y'all don't get to tell people how we should view people when they move on past, the life on earth, because you feel sad about a specific person. If you're not a good person, you don't get to tell people to suppress their feelings about someone not being a good person simply because they died. It doesn't work that way. And this is why when you're here on this earth, you need to do a better job of being a better person. I'm not talking about Pete Rose betting on baseball, which is bad within itself. And I understand that people feel like Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm very indifferent about it, but betting on a sport that you actively played in
Mhm.
is as bad as it gets. And I don't know how you can, turn that around in that regard. Because if you were actually fixating games, that's horrible. That's horrible. Okay, and you have a real problem, and you need to seek help. But aside from that, Charles, Stephen A. Smith went on First Take and said murderers are in the Hall of Fame. I think talking about Ty Cobb or whatever, and they were allowed to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, again, first of all, he bet on baseball, and so being a murderer, while it is a very bad thing, has nothing to do with the sport in which they were playing. Let's be clear on that. But if we want to start bringing up extracurricular activities on what people were doing outside of their jobs, then let's do that, okay? And with Pete Rose, I don't know if you all know this, but at 34 years old, Pete Rose was fucking a 14-year-old girl in Ohio with a man that was married with children at the time, was fucking a girl. That was 14 years old, and he was 34 years old. He claims that the girl says she was 16, which I believe in the state of Ohio would then make it legal, but it still makes it nonetheless disgusting. Pete Rose was a disgusting human being, and since we want to bring up what people was doing outside of work, I'm going to bring up to you the fact that Pete Rose was a pedophile. Okay, and so you don't get to tell me how to eulogize Pete fucking Rose because he was a nasty person. Was he a great baseball player? I'll never take that away from him. One of the best baseball players in the history of Major League Baseball. That does not negate the fact that he was a gross human being, and it affected not only his family, but that girl's family as well for his actions. So remember, when y'all out here doing the shit that you do, your legacy is on the line. You don't get to tell people. You don't get to tell people what your legacy is. And if you don't believe me, look it up, Google it, because ESPN absolutely has an article about it. I didn't make this up because I don't make anything up. It's the truth. And Pete Rose, for me, at the end of the day, is going to be a man who not only did a disgusting thing for the sport that he played for, but he did a disgusting thing as a human being. And that's how I'm going to remember Pete Rose. And no one gets to tell me how to eulogize him. Okay? So I just wanted to be clear about that. Basically, legacy is important here. So,
well, excuse me, I did not know that. I'm over here like, he did what?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I only remember the gambling.
Yes, he did. In 2017, he admitted to fucking a 14-year-old, although he claimed that the girl said she was 16, which makes it no different for me. She still can't vote. She still couldn't smoke cigarettes. She still couldn't go to the
cigarettes. Can't buy herself a drink.
She couldn't buy herself a drink. She could probably have a provisional license at best. She's a child, okay, a fucking child. And not only were you an adult, you were a grown ass adult, old enough to be her fucking father. Please go to hell. I hope he's there already. Actually, I hope that he is there and that it's hot. So. There's that. Thank you so much for listening to me in my rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you so much, guys. Sorry that I had to end it this way, but sometimes you got, hey, the read is the read, and it is what it is, you know? So
it is what it is.
Since we was on the topic of legacy, I figured why not go to the other side of it? You know, people be assholes and douchebags too. And if that's the way that you remember that person, then that's their fault, not yours.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, we will continue to mourn the loss of Dikembe Mutombo while I will continue to remember that Pete Rose is a pedophile. And that's just how that's going to go. So please, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy week 5 of the NFL, week 6 of college football, and then we'll talk to you next week.